Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Erik Ten Hag is officially Manchester United's new manager. The Erik Ten Hag era has begun. Erik Ten Hag has had his first interview as the Manchester United manager. Man United have confirmed the appointments of Michel van der Gag and Steve McLaren. They'll be working alongside Ten Hag at Manchester United. The other month, it got officially announced that Manchester United appointed Erik Ten Hag as their new manager. Erik Ten Hag has replaced Ralf Rangnick. Erik Ten Hag signed a 3-year deal with an option of a fourth. Ten Hag attended Manchester United's game against Crystal Palace. Man United lost that game against Crystal Palace yesterday 1-0. Ten Hag is Man United's 5th permanent manager since Sir Alex Ferguson. There's a lot of players that Ten Hag wants to recommend to Manchester United. I'll mention, a lot of the players he does want to bring in. So he wants to bring Jurriën Timber in. He wants to bring Anthony in. Lisandro Martinez. Man United have been heavily linked with Frenkie de Jong from Barcelona. We've obviously been linked with Declan Rice now for quite some time. We've also been in for Ousmane Dembele. Erik Ten Hag has already said he wants to sign a striker this summer. Ten Hag's transfer budget has already been revealed. He's getting 170 million. Ten Hag is going to get rid of a lot of players as well. I heard that 10 players are set to leave Manchester United. But it's good that Ten Hag is experiencing the Premier League. Hopefully at Man United he can replicate what he did at Ajax. At Ajax he did very well. He developed the young players well. He won Eredivisie titles. He won some Dutch Cups. And revert back to 2019, he got Ajax to the Champions League semi-finals. Erik Ten Hag was the Ajax manager for around 5 years. His contract at Ajax was due to expire next year. Before, Ten Hag managed Utrecht, Bayern Munich's reserves and Go Ahead Eagles. As for Ralf Rangnick, the Crystal Palace game yesterday was his final game in charge of Man United. Rangnick was Man United's interim manager for around 4 or 5 months. Earlier on this year, it got officially announced that Ralf Rangnick got appointed in as the new manager of Austria. Ralf Rangnick signed a 2-year deal. But despite that, it did mention that Rangnick would continue at Man United in a consultancy role until 2024. Ralf Rangnick did endure one transfer window as Man United's interim manager. Unfortunately, he didn't get backed in this year's January transfer window. Revert back to earlier on this year, Ralf Rangnick, made changes because he did recommend Ewan Sharping as an assistant coach and analyst. He also recommended Chris Armisen as an assistant coach, and he recommended Saz Chalenzin as a sports psychologist. And before, Ralf Rangnick was the head of sports and development at Lokomotiv Moscow. Man United have endured their worst ever Premier League season. Man United finished 6th place. Man United finished on just 58 points. And Man United have lost 6 consecutive Premier League away games. Man United are in the Europa League for next season. As things stand, Man United have not won a trophy for 5 years. Man United have only won, 4 trophies in the last 10 years. You know, we won the FA Cup under Louis van Gaal. We won the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield under the Jose Mourinho era. So there you go. And we won the Premier League back in 2013. That's the last time Man United won the Premier League. And Man United have spent over £1 billion since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. Man United have brought over 40 odd players in since Ferguson retired. And let me put into the equation that none of this squad was Rangnick's, and none of this squad is Erik Ten Hag. You know, he's inheriting players who other managers have brought in. So he's got a massive job ahead of him as Ten Hag. The 4 permanent managers Man United have sacked since Ferguson. Man United sacked David Moyes after 10 months. And then obviously Man United had Louis van Gaal. You know, sacked him after like 2 years. And then after that we had Mourinho. Man United sacked Mourinho after like 2.5 years. And then after that we had Solskjaer. Man United sacked Solskjaer in November last year after almost 3 years in charge. We've got to get the Glazers out of the football club because they've been one of the biggest issues at the club for a long time. A lot recently United fans have been protesting against the Glazers, and I think the protesting will persist until the Glazers are out of the club. The Glazers have owned Man United for a long time. They've owned the club for around 17 years. They purchased the club for 500 million back in 2005. Earlier on this year, it got officially announced that Matt Judge resigned. So reflecting on that, it said he will not play a role in the summer transfer window. Matt Judge was at Man United for around 8 years. But yeah, like I say, a lot of players are going to leave the club this summer. You know, I'm expecting Dean Henderson to leave. Henderson is Man United's second choice keeper. Henderson only made 3 appearances last season. I think Tom Heaton will be leaving as well. He's a backup. He's our third choice keeper. Man United got Tom Heaton on a free from Aston Villa in the summer of last year. Lee Grant will leave this year. Lee Grant's our 4th choice keeper. We brought him in under the Jose Mourinho era. Tellez, he'll be leaving this year. Tellez has endured a difficult time in the last few months. Tellez, though, was our first choice left back under Rangnick. Jones and Bailly, they'll be leaving this year. Well, they've already told their teammates that they intend on leaving the club. Jones and Bailly are backup centre halves because, you know, they don't really get in the team. You know, Jones recently picked up a knock and Bailly's got a knock. You know, Bailly's injury prone. Harry Maguire, he'll be leaving the club this year. Maguire's not good enough. Throughout the course of last season, a lot of Man United fans were demanding for the captaincy to be taken off Maguire. He come back from injury not so long ago. He's had quite a lot of injuries since he came to the club. Maguire's been a United player for around 3 years. He's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment because Man United paid 80 million for him. Earlier on in the season, Maguire received a bomb threat at his home, and reflecting on that, he called the police. And Wan-Bissaka, I'm expecting him to leave this year. Prior to the Palace game, it said Wan-Bissaka will be allowed to leave Man United this summer. You know, I heard that he could be going back to Crystal Palace. Atletico Madrid want him on loan. Bissaka wasn't our first choice right back under Rangnick. You know, Diego Dalot was. Bissaka's good defensively most of the time, but the attacking side of his game is not so good. You know, Wan-Bissaka's endured 3 full seasons with Man United. Man United got him in a deal worth 50 million from Crystal Palace back in the summer of 2019. Nemanja Matic, we know he's leaving this year because earlier on this year Matic announced he'll be leaving Man United despite having 12 months on his contract. Matic is the only predominant centre defensive midfielder Man United have got at the moment. And he's not one of our first choice midfielders, but he has been given his opportunities. Matic has been at Man United for 5 years. Man United got him from Chelsea back in 2017 for 40 million. Paul Pogba, he'll be leaving as well this year. Damasio said not so long ago that Paul Pogba has 100% decided to leave Man United. Apparently Pogba's been offered a 3-year contract by his former club Juventus. I think Juventus have offered him €7.5 million a year, but Pogba's demanding €11 million. Revert back to earlier on this year, Sky Sports said that Paul Pogba is likely to move abroad when his contract runs out this summer. Real Madrid, PSG and Juventus are interested. Pogba has already rejected a move to Man City because it did say that Man City were considering signing Pogba on a free from Man United. Man City were willing to offer him a 4-year deal. Pogba, you know, he's out with injury at the moment, and Pogba is a good player when he wants to be, and he's also an imperative player. Pogba's endured 6 seasons at Man United since he re-signed. Man United paid 89 million for Pogba, so reflecting on that, he's the club's most expensive sign at the moment. Jesse Lingard should be leaving as well this year. Lingard's out of contract soon, and Lingard is a squad player, you know, he doesn't really get in the team. Lingard has been part of the club for a long time though, came up our academy. He's had quite a few loan spells with different teams. At the second half of last season, endured a 4-month loan spell with West Ham and he made an impact. Martial, expecting him to leave permanently. He's been out on loan with Sevilla. Juan Mata, he should be leaving this year. If he doesn't leave this year, he'll leave next year. Prior to the Palace game, the Manchester Evening News said that Juan Mata doesn't rule out staying at Man United. Juan Mata's out of contract soon. He's endured 9 seasons at the club. So he's been a United player for around 8 years. So reflecting on that, he's been a long-serving player. I reckon Juan Mata's had a good career at the club. Man United got him from Chelsea back in 2014. Edison Cavani, he'll be leaving on a free very soon. Man United got Cavani on a free transfer from PSG back in the summer of 2020. Cavani started against Crystal Palace yesterday because obviously Ronaldo wasn't available. You know, Ronaldo recently picked up a hip injury. Cavani had a very good chance against Palace, produced a good save from the Crystal Palace goalkeeper. Cavani didn't start in the 4-0 defeat to Brighton, but he came on, he did score, but the goal got ruled out for offside. So there you go, and you know, players will leave Man United in 2023, which is next year. You know, we've got quite a lot of players' contracts that do expire next year. You know, De Gea's contract expires next year. Rashford's contract expires next year. Luke Shaw's contract expires next year. Jones's contract expires next year. So does Diego Dalot's. I think if I'm right, Fred's contract expires next year. So too does Ronaldo's. So there you go. But, you know, Man United have got good players in there. But the reason we're not competitive is because we don't play as a team. You know, we are a team of individuals, like, you know, a lot of pundits have spoken about. You know, you've got the likes of City and Liverpool and that all play as a team, and they're at least 3 or 4 years ahead of Manchester United. So, you know, the good players, I'd say we've got, we've got Ronaldo, you know, best player in the world overall. Like I said, got a hip injury at the moment, but since he re-signed for Man United, he's got 24 goals in all competitions. 18 of them are in the Premier League. You know, you've got Fernandes, that is a very good player, but I think he was poor in a lot of games last season. We've struggled to get the best out of Fernandes since Ronaldo re-signed for the club. You know, you've got Rashford, that is a good player overall, but was very poor last season. You know, Rashford hasn't been the same player since he had that operation on his shoulder. You've got Sancho, that is good when he wants to be, but he's done nowhere near as well as a lot of United fans expected. He's had his good games, he's had his bad games. Sancho's not available at the moment, he's out with illness. Like I said, you've got Pogba, that's good when he wants to be. You've got Varane, that's a very good centre-half when he wants to be. Luke Shaw's a good left-back when he wants to be. We've got a sensational goalkeeper in David De Gea. So there you go. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you with. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very soon.